You can self-heal anything yourself, emotional, mental, and physical. All symptoms, including physical ones, are temporary. They are your body's voice shouting about unprocessed emotions. If you are done with making your symptoms permanent, then come to my website link underneath to find out how I can help you to release and rise. I'm Jenny Luscombe, a facilitator of healing and awakening. I point people towards the truth that we do actually have the power to own our own consciousness after all. I'm just about to do my show, Feeling is Healing, on Holistic Radio on Telegram. This happens every Monday, 5 till 6 p.m, where you can listen live and come and join in and ask questions or listen to the replay. I absolutely love my Holistic Radio family. I love doing my show. It's my passion. It's a beautiful example of win-win energy, therapeutic for me, therapeutic for you. Come and discover, explore, live, laugh, learn, listen, enjoy, and gratitude. Hello, this is Jenny Luscombe and this is Feeling is Healing. And today we're going to talk about gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. So, and this is like, it seems like a thing that everybody already knows about, and everybody does already know about it. But this was kind of inspired by a client that came and was struggling with receiving, which is quite a common issue. And people don't always connect that up with gratitude and thankfulness and how that went for us as small children. So what I'm going to do, I don't think this is going to be a big show, like a long show. I think it's going to be quite short. But what I'm going to cover is basically working out whether we've got blocks to gratitude, and then what to do about it. And then we're going to look at gratitude from the perspective of the universe. And we're then going to talk about the unbelievable number of benefits that gratitude brings. And then there's 8 different ways that we can go about that. So I've got a few things to say, but I don't think it's going to be long. So, yeah, so I've done a little bit of research and I've thought about myself and my own feelings about gratitude. So I used to do a gratitude journal, and a lot of people do that. But I found it kind of hard to keep going with, and I didn't feel like I wanted to do it. And then it kind of fell by the wayside, and I didn't think much about it because I kind of replaced it with other things to try. But I'm definitely going to go back to it. So so this has been inspired by somebody that I was doing some sessions with. So what I want you to do, if you want to sort of question yourself on this, particularly if you have any issues that you know of around gratitude, or any issues that you have around the giving and receiving of love generally, or the giving and receiving of anything actually. So think about gratitude and what that feels like to you when you are going towards it consciously. So if you are thinking, right, I haven't done that for a while, I haven't consciously moved towards gratitude for a while. If that's the case, just sit and have a think about why that might be. So when I did this, I sat with the notion that I was doing a gratitude journal and I wasn't quite sure why I wasn't doing it anymore. And I picked up my gratitude journal and I went back through it and I read some of the things I was grateful for, and it put me in a really high vibe straight away. And I thought, why am I not doing this? So why have I been somehow turned off this? So when I sat with it, I realized that it was bringing up a feeling for me personally of like obligation. And I thought, well, that's weird. I wonder why it's bringing up a feeling of obligation. So I tuned more into that. And it was a feeling of kind of like, oh, when you're a kid, oh, do I have to, So kind of if you'd been given a gift by somebody and, maybe you liked the gift, maybe you didn't like the gift, maybe it was your birthday, maybe it was Christmas, maybe it was another time, maybe you didn't ask for that gift, maybe you did. There's loads of different variables, but I think everybody's kind of familiar with the memory of kind of feeling forced to thank somebody for something that maybe you didn't actually feel particularly grateful for, or you didn't like the thing. Maybe they thought that you would like it and you didn't like it. But anyway, it was a feeling of kind of like a mismatch. It wasn't like an authentic thing that you felt that you wanted to communicate to somebody. You were kind of pushed into that by your mum or your dad or a teacher or somebody else. So yeah, for me, there was a feeling of feeling forced, kind of like, do I have to? Like this kind of reluctance energy. And I couldn't really pin it on any specific memories. So I kind of concluded that it was, for me, as a child, like a general pattern. And it did bring up a few memories. But yeah, so I would recommend just sitting with it and asking yourself the question, why am I resistant to the acknowledgement of the positive? Which is basically what gratitude is. So why would I be resistant to the acknowledgement of the positive? Because it's a weird thing, isn't it? Like if we are resistant to that, and lots of people have resistance to this. So it's a case of just sitting with it, asking your body, asking the universe, and then not trying to work it out, just letting the memories come or the thoughts come, kind of like bubbles that come up from the depths. And then that will give you a clue. But basically, what I've realized is a lot of people are told when they're children that they should be grateful, and often they're called ungrateful, particularly when they're given things that somebody else values or a parent values, but then the child actually doesn't share that value. So you were given something and you felt like you had to say thank you because it was given to you, but it wasn't really something that you really appreciated much. So occasionally there's like a deflection from a parent when we feel the way that we feel about something. Sometimes we're told that it's inappropriate to be honest, which is interesting, isn't it? When we're now kind of in this age of trying to be authentic in every way, if we can. So a lot of us were made to feel that we shouldn't feel the way that we feel. So often there was, and there can be loads of different complex situations connected to this, there was an association that we formed between gratitude and something painful. So we could have formed an association between gratitude and the feeling of being minimized or invalidated, or the feeling of enmeshment, or the feeling of being controlled or kind of indebted to somebody. Sometimes we can even weave that in with shame and kind of power struggles. But quite a common one is kind of like having to put up with what you have instead of getting what you want. That kind of like there are starving children in Africa kind of thing, So yeah, tune into that because it's there's loads of really interesting, strong feelings woven into this. And I've asked a couple of people, and it can make people really cringe. So if you go into a cringe, that's a really, really good thing to sit with. So I would recommend sitting in the cringe and tapping and letting the cringe be there and letting the cringe bring information to you. Because a cringe is kind of like, oh, it's stuck. That's stuck in your body. It's stuck energy, and you could do without that.
So if you use tapping to sit in the cringe, normally you would have run a mile from the cringe. So sit in the cringe and see what it brings you. And it's basically up to us to answer that question. Why am I resistant to the acknowledgement of the positive? Why am I resistant to going consciously towards gratitude? So if we've had an association form between gratitude and something painful that's happened to us, we can just build a new association. So the way to do that is to sit with the difficult association, just let it be there, let the memory come, spend some time with the inner child and just look into that situation and understand it and understand that they felt the way that they felt for good reasons. And then from there, you can start to rewire gratitude and you can make it yours. So I think this is a massive thing. And, if people feel like they've got blocks to their abundance, then working on this and figuring out why you might have a resistance to gratitude, it can actually be quite a big key to understanding why you're not receiving in the ways that you would like. So what is it then? Thankfulness, gratitude. So it's when we notice what is positive about something, and we notice why it has worth or value for us personally. So it's a yes, please. It's a yes, please to the universe. And it's like a calling in. It's like cosmic ordering. It's like placing an order. So as the universe is coming to know itself through us, it's developing self-awareness through us. So in theory, when we are grateful for what we have and we move towards what we would like and we're placing our orders with the universe is basically coming to know itself more clearly in terms of what it wants through us and therefore who it is through us and what it is through us. So this is like self-actualization for us, but also for the universe. So we're helping and facilitating the universe by choosing what to consciously be and what to consciously order, what to consciously have. So gratitude is like a receptivity to the positive. So when someone is grateful to us, when we have that experience in life, in day-to-day life, so someone is grateful to us for something that we've done or something that we've said or something that we just are, and they move towards us with that authentic gratitude, how do we feel? Well, we love it. We love it. We love being appreciated. We love feeling useful. We love feeling like we've done a good job. And the effect that has on us is that we want to give more. We want to give more. We want to give more to that person because they received us. So this increases our desire to give. And many of us on this path know that giving is the key. For many of us, we kind of spent years and years trying to work out how to receive more, but the key is always how to give more. So when people are grateful to us, we notice that it increases our desire to give. So if you put that back out to the universe literally wants to give us more. It wants to give us more. Now, it might not feel like it if we have a pattern that blocks this. So lots of people have patterns that sound something like, the universe hates me. Or the universe is punishing me, or God is punishing me, or I never get what I want. I never get what I'm looking for. I always get what I don't want. There's loads of patterns that we might have had in the past or we might still have that actually blocks this. So think about if you feel like you're being punished by the universe or you never get what you want. Think about the universe as being your mum or your dad, or your parents, or whoever was looking after you when you were little. Think about how you feel about that universe that feels punitive, and then think about how you feel about your parent that maybe was punitive. It's likely that it's the same feeling, and it's kind of the same as sometimes what we project onto the governments. So if we have unhealed wounds around how we were parented, about our own parents, sometimes we will project that out onto the universe. So it's helpful, if that's the case, to sit with that pattern and to understand first that you might be doing that, that you might be projecting. So just ask yourself, am I projecting my unhealed wounds about how I was parented onto the universe? Just sit with that and allow the answer to come, and allow your body and your consciousness to give you some clues about how you would have done that, or when you would have done that. Whatever it is that you need to know will come to you if you sit with it for long enough. So basically, the universe actually wants to give us more. Like we want to give more when somebody appreciates us. It's just nature. It's how things work. So the universe is a mirror, and it's always going to reflect back to us the lack or the abundance that we are in that specific time and space. So there's a myriad of benefits from gratitude, and it really is noticeable that once you get into that rampage of appreciation, once you go to that conscious practice of being grateful, finding things to be grateful for, to get into that vibe, because the more grateful you are, the more things that you're grateful for, the more things the universe will bring you to be grateful for. So yeah, so I came up with this list that I found from all over the place. So there's lots of really obvious ones, like your self-esteem goes up if you practice gratitude regularly. There's kind of really odd ones, like your metabolism is more regulated, and the tissues of your body become more relaxed, and you actually become more rational and more grounded in reality. And you are actually, what you're doing is rewiring the neuro pathways in your brain for a better experience generally. And then obviously there's stress reduction, and there's an increase in optimism and positivity, particularly about the future. If you do this regularly, you will be breathing more deeply. Your heart rate will be slower. You will be naturally pulled out of fight and flight. Your dopamine levels will go up. You will build more resilience to life events. There's a massive decrease in inflammation, and therefore any medical stuff that is caused by inflammation. You generally are just more open to life. Your immunity increases. For you personally, whatever your alignment is, your coherence for you personally to what you want and to what you like, that will increase naturally. Your knowledge and understanding about your own boundaries will increase. You'll kind of experience like a buffering against trauma. You'll actually become kinder and more generous and want to serve more and want to give more. Your sleep will improve. Your bonds with other people will improve. So generally relationships will improve, and obviously your relationship to yourself. So it's kind of like this is nuts. Like if just this one thing changes all of that, it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and it makes me laugh that I kind of got taken away from this, and I'm glad that I questioned it, and I'm glad that the universe sent me this client to kind of unplug this. So there's lots of ways that we can be grateful, and the one that I was using was the obvious one, journaling, and I do love writing, and I find writing very helpful for me personally. But I'm thinking about doing gratitude in a lot more conscious ways as well. So obviously, number one, start a journal and then just list what you value, whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's something you can see in the moment where you are, or something that you are grateful for from the past. It doesn't have to be a current, present thing. A brilliant way to move into gratitude and thankfulness is, and it's integration really. It's a practice of taking an unwanted situation and then stretching your consciousness to look at the hidden positives, like the silver linings. So sometimes it's not easy to do that. It depends where you are with that unwanted thing. This is easier if it's a historical unwanted thing where you've got perspective and learnings and you can look back at that. But if you're in the middle of something unwanted, this is really helpful. It's quite difficult, but it's really helpful if you can stretch your consciousness and ask, given that I know that this is happening for me, why would that be? I want to be grateful for the reasons why this is happening for me, and then go there. And that's a really, really helpful way to integrate when you're going through something hard. Number three, I am a big fan of demonstration and action. So demonstrate to people in your life what you like about them, what's pleased you, what you're noticing. I like the way that you do this, or I like the way that you said that, or and that's a brilliant one for kids as well. When I was a teacher in the classroom, it was like gold, because when children receive specific praise, not general, because children pick up on general bullshit praise. If it's specific to them, I like the way that you used this color in your painting, or whatever it is. It matters when you demonstrate and when you take that action to show somebody what you appreciate and approve of. And it can be the antidote to a lot of disapproval. It's very healing. Number four, like gratitude, it isn't just a verbal thing or a written thing. So yeah, show it with your actions in all these different ways. Like there's I never remember who it is who wrote it, but somebody wrote the book, The 5 Love Languages. And the 5 love languages, in a nutshell, are basically different ways that we give and receive love to ourselves and to the people around us. And we all have different ones of these. We all have some that we prefer. It's always good to know what your love languages are and what the love languages are of the people around you, because then you are able to appreciate each other and show each other love more effectively. It's actually saved marriages. I think it was somebody who was a marriage guidance counselor actually for a long time who wrote that book, although I might have got that wrong. So the love languages are words of affirmation, giving and receiving of gifts, acts of service, physical touch, and quality time. So you could use those 5 ways of showing gratitude to the people that you love. There's also things like things that just come in life, like when you love someone, when you really genuinely appreciate someone, somebody will know that because, for example, you're showing loyalty. So you wouldn't be showing loyalty if you didn't appreciate that person. So when somebody receives you showing loyalty, they realize that that's a genuine connection. And then things like defending someone, like if you defend someone, then you realize that you value that person, and they realize you value them because you've done that. Even things like staying in touch with someone, you know, staying in touch with someone. And I know that we sometimes question that in relationships, particularly if you're on this path where sometimes our frequency is changing and other people's isn't as much. It's a tricky one sometimes, knowing whether to stay in touch or whether not to. But yeah, these are all ways of showing gratitude without actually saying anything, but just through living life and authentically being you, and authentically showing other people what they mean to you. So number 5, a really good one is, and this is another good one for children, is basically treasure hunt for positives wherever you are, in your environment or in your life. Just treasure hunt, look for things, because like this is a beautiful way to get real. You know, if we're struggling, having difficult days, difficult times, it's just the perfect way to lift yourself up. So treasure hunt wherever you are, and then go into that. You know, I love the way the bird. I hear the bird song through my window in the morning. You know, whatever it is. This is a really beautiful one. Number 6, like when you're kind of out and about in the world and you can observe other people, you could walk past a person in the street and with a conscious practice of gratitude, you could be kind of treasure hunting, looking for ways that you can appreciate that person. So maybe it's their haircut, maybe it's their shoes, maybe it's the way they were relating to their child. Whatever it is, maybe it was the slogan on their t-shirt, or maybe it was just the vibe that they gave off. So yeah, treasure hunt for something you appreciate about the people around you, because we know that people can feel this stuff, you know, on some kind of level as well. And it just makes you feel amazing if you spend like a little walk in the country doing that, or through the town. And you can say, you know, I love that person for that. You know, notice the thing and just say to yourself, I love them for that. What a beautiful thing. So this is kind of like a lovely way to build momentum. And if you have, you know, if you are having a difficult time, or if you're kind of used to a life of threat in your environment, or you're moving through difficult things, it can be hard at first to sort of turn things around and then build up momentum. But there's so many different ways to do it, and it does get easier if you make that a practice. The final way, which I think is one of the strongest ways, because it's kind of like the language of the universe. If you want to attract more of something, then it's a good idea to ask yourself the question, what am I already grateful for that is like that thing that I want more of? So that thing that you want more of, it could be something like stability, right? I want more stability. I would love more stability in my life. Then you can treasure hunt for things that do have stability or show stability. Like, for example, you could be out walking and you could notice the stability of the trees that have stood there for hundreds of years, with their roots kind of like, you know, rooted down all the way down to the center of the earth, and their branches stretching up to the sky. You know, it doesn't get much more stable than a tree. I mean, I remember I used to have this friend who was from Turkey, and she was telling me about, there was a big earthquake in Istanbul, and as children in countries like that, people are taught to run to the nearest tree when there's an earthquake, because the trees are, you know, sometimes trees will get blown over in a tornado or whatever, but it's not that usual. Um, but trees, if you hold on to a tree in an earthquake, you're going to be okay, because nothing can actually fall on you if you're under a tree. And if you're holding on to a tree, the tree is going to move with the earth. Like it seems kind of like counterintuitive, but Yeah, my friend had lots of memories of holding on to trees when she was little. So yeah, if you want more stability in your life, look for things in your environment that are stability, and then praise and be grateful for these stable things that you can see around you. And then you can use affirmations like I wonder, I wonder is one of my favorites because it's like open. Like if you're wondering something, there's zero resistance. It's not a push away. It's not like I simply must have. Like that, it's not a demand. It's a soft, open, moving towards. So you could say, um, I would love, I would love to move towards more stability in my life, and I'm really appreciating the stability of the trees. And I wonder how the universe is bringing the stability of the trees into my life. And I wonder what that will look like. And I wonder how I will know. And I wonder where I will be when that happens. It's really powerful. So there's loads of different ways you can do this. If you were looking for more joy in your life, then you could go towards what you're already grateful for that is like that thing. So maybe you dance regularly and it brings you joy. Maybe you talk regularly to a specific person and that brings you joy. Maybe your qigong practice brings you joy, or your walking brings you joy. So just be grateful and thankful for those things to the nth degree, and then I wonder how the universe is bringing more of that joy into my life that I feel when I'm doing Qigong. And I wonder when it's coming. And I wonder what it will look like. And I wonder where I'll be when I notice that that's arrived. And then things like flow, like I was think because I struggle sometimes to flow, like I have stopping, starting, stopping, starting. Um, like I was thinking about flow, so how would I bring more flow into my life? So I would notice the flow in my environment around me. So for example, the flow of the bee from flower to flower. Here it is on this flower, and then it moves to the next flower, and it's happily buzzing away, and it'll land for a while, and it then moves to another one, and then it goes for a little mooch, and then it comes back and it lands on another flower, and it's in the flow. It's just flowing, flower to flower. How about the seagulls that you can see on the thermals? They're just gracefully swooping, effortlessly. There's nothing for them to be taken away by. They're just flowing. They're flowing from one thermal to another. And then maybe like the loopy dog, the loopy dog out for a walk, bounding through the long grass. The flow, like it doesn't stop, like that's its exercise for the day. It's going to make the most of it. It's flowing in every moment. And the wind, how the breeze is like flowing through your house with all the windows open and the back door open. I really appreciate the flow of the warm breeze in my home. And I wonder how the universe is bringing more flow into my life. And I wonder what that will look like. And I wonder how it will feel. Things like, magic is something that we could all do with more of. So, like, if you wanted to bring more magic into your life, one that I'm practicing and have been for a while is, that kind of like feeling of surprise and wonder and kind of admiration. When something surprising happens, you might kind of gasp like, oh wow, like, gosh, that's a magical thing to happen. So you could have that gasping, that feeling in your chest of, oh my god, like something beautiful is occurring. Like I just absolutely love this feeling. And then when nothing is happening, there's nothing magical happening at all, just do that gasp and then remember when magical things have happened, and then say to the universe, I wonder when the next time is that I'm going to feel this feeling, and I'll remember that I was in this moment kind of programming myself to feel it, and I wonder when that's going to pay off, and I wonder what that's going to be, and I'm so excited to find out. And kind of not clinging or needing, like just being curious and playing with the energy. I think that's a beautiful way to bring in more of what you're looking for, to bring in more magic. So yeah, I reckon hammer to death that I wonder how it's coming, and I wonder how I will know, and I wonder what I will say. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, really. I just wanted to share all of that, and I just wanted to express gratitude for my client that had sort of flagged that up for me and helped me bust a problem that I was having that I didn't even realize that I was really having. But yeah, I'm sure that that's freed up my energy to some degree in terms of receiving, and therefore giving, because it's the kind of the same thing. So I'll stop there, but if anyone would like to add anything or join in, then feel free.
I love that, Jen, because it opens up your sense of wonder, what can be. Like, for instance, I'm a student of the tarot, but I have the astrological tarot that is different than my other one. So today I wonder how to, well, just to go through the book and line up the cards with other decks. I find that a challenge and a wonder that will lead me to greater knowledge of the cards themselves, and just open up an avenue of exploration for fun, So there you go.
Yeah, that sounds like an adventure, Kevin. Yeah, what a lovely magical journey you're about to embark on. Yeah, it's
I,
beautiful.
I wonder when Jenny Luscombe's coming back to Portugal.
I wonder. Hmm. Anybody else? Oh, thank you everybody for coming. It's nice to see so many folks listening in on the live. But yeah, I hope that's helped. And it wasn't as long a show as usual, but I think I am going to do some. I think I might still keep my long show occasionally, but I might do some short ones as well. And I was trying to think of a word for a short show, like a morsel, like Litmus's nuggets. But I haven't come up with anything particularly catchy yet. So if
You
anyone
keep
has any ideas,
Jen, all right?
pardon?
I said you keep your hands off my nuggets, and you to come up with your own one, don't you? Morsel, is it?
Yeah, I don't. It isn't ringing. It hasn't got a. It does. It isn't
No.
like nuggets. There's no alliterate. I need something alliterative, if that's a word.
Okay. Yes. We'll have to think of something then, won't we?
Like when I was teaching, I used to have comfort corner for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
like which was a really nice one. I might do something like that. We'll see.
Like a
Cozy.
tea time break.
Yeah, I mean, I love tea, so that is something that I could do. Something tea time with Jen. Yeah, yeah. I'll think about that.
Jenny's marvelous musings.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, marvelous musings. Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll get back to you all on that.
Whatever way, we look forward to it, Jen.
Thanks,
Mm.
Charlie.
Gratitude, Jen. Great show.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. All right. Are you there, Andy?
Tobias, wake up, Andy.
Yeah.
Ow. Ow.
like I used to know how to stop the show, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, hang on, this might be it. End the video. Do you know, Litmus? Oh, is it stop the recording? I don't want to kick everybody out though. I'll try that. Anyway, thank you everybody.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah. Well, I used to start the show myself. Quite a few of us used to start it ourselves, but it was a bit complicated and I could never remember how to do it. Maybe that's why Andy always does it now. Anyway, I think I know what to do. So thanks everybody for listening. And yes, I expect I'm back with
Gratitude
you.
for your show, Jen.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you got inspired, then I would be so grateful for you clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, commenting underneath, and sharing with someone you think it might help. And if there is something that you are personally working on, that you are finding it hard, then ask under the video. Let's start a conversation that others can also benefit from. What have you tried that's worked? What have you tried that hasn't? Self-healing is the way, and it is mainstreaming. Let's help each other. Lots of love. I look forward to seeing you here again.